summit? Oh, so next week you want me to bring the study of the summit in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, there you go.
But I don't know if it's missing some of it.
Oh, that's what I had, yeah.
Yeah, check that and whatever you don't,
Okay.
I've got everything in the computer, you know, I can print it out. Well, okay, it's 9 o'clock.
All right, well then I'll fix this and then I'll bring it later.
Okay, just let me know when you're ready. Okay, I got my pointer. Don't know how much good it's gonna be though. I'm right here. Let's see.
Oh, come on, man. Do what?
The papers that you give us, did you get it from our website or just all your notes?
Knowledge, well, I mean, what do you mean? You mean
No,
how I come up with the stuff? Oh, I make it up.
You make it up? Oh, no, because I use a little, no. No, if you knowledge, I say you knowledge, usually was the one say you make it up.
No,
Let's not get ever confused over here. Misunderstood.
no, I have so many resources and stuff and things I've already known
Oh, okay.
and I put, you know, I just,
Get things to it.
Yeah.
No, because I, like on my thesis where I'm putting for Hebrew,
uh-huh.
and I like all that, a bunch of information, so I just give you credit to you.
Well, give credit to the Lord.
I know, but you know how they ask me to, I have to give credit to whoever I
Oh,
have.
oh, yeah, oh, absolutely.
You guys gonna have to
Yeah.
finish talking about that because we're
Yes.
supposed to be live. We're a
You're
minute
right.
late.
You're right.
Well, John, you got a sold out crowd. So you ready for me to go?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. Can I kind of watch this soon? Good morning, Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to this week's edition of FreeHebrewClass.com. I'm Wanda, and I'm here to today just expand on what we studied last week with our 18th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, which is the letter Tsadik. That letter, again, is the 18th letter when you're looking at it from an ordinal perspective, and the value of it is 90. Now, what we learned last week in the study of it is the 18 correlates with the spinal cord. And so when you look at when you look at the symbol, this symbol looks like someone bowing down with their arms stretched up in worship. The 18 in this number symbolizes the vertebrae of the human body. And when you're bowing down in worship, you're bowing down and you're bending each of those vertebrae in humility and worship. So that's one of the things that we learned about the letter Tsadik. Now remember, when we're studying these letters in Hebrew, we're not only getting the name, the form, and the sound, we're also getting the numeric value, the meaning, and a picture. So the picture for this letter, it's going to be a hook, or it could be a man laying down on his side. Now, what we want to do is just to try to bring the concrete aspect of Hebrew to the studies of the language, because Hebrew is based off concrete, functional things. That's why they use the pictograph. And so when you look at the letter Tsadik, it stands for righteousness, but righteousness is more or less an abstract term. You can't really wrap your hands around anything for that. So today I just want to paint a picture of what the letter Tsadik looks like in a concrete form. In a concrete form, what you can do is you can picture the hand of God resting on the back of the head, guiding you. And you're hooked to the door, which is Yeshua. So here we have the humble servant hooked to the door, which is Yeshua. This is the hand of God on the head. This letter Kuf represents the head. So what you have is the hand of God on the head guiding you. Picture if you're in a grocery store or something like that, you see the little kids and they're running around, and maybe you'll see a father and a son, and the little boy wants to wander off. The father will place his hand on the child's head and kind of guide him where he needs to go. He places it on the back of the head to guide him where he needs to go. And he gently does this. This is the same thing that the Lord does to us. He guides us where we need to go. That's what is part of the word righteous. And so when we look at the word righteous, we can also take a minute to look at what is unrighteous or self-righteousness. When you look at the letters for righteousness, you have the Tsadik, the Dalet, the Yud, and the Kuf. These are all in order, and I didn't put the vowel sounds on here because I was just going back to the original form where they didn't have the vowels. And so what you may want to notice here is that God put a crownlet on this letter. He has 8 letters in the alphabet that he took the extra time after he created the letters to put a crownlet on it. It has 3 little crownlets. This letter, Tsadik, in the form that's in the words, has the crownlet, and in the final form of this letter, it also has the crownlet. So he gives you a crown. You're crowned in humility right here. When you look at the word self-righteous, you see the same letters, but you have some additional letters, and the placement is different. Here we start out the same. You have the Tsadik and the Dalet. You have the crownlet, but then the hand of God is removed from the back of the head, so you're not being guided by the Lord. And now you're adding in a Nun, and then you have the Yud at the end. And what the Lord ministered to me is, think of when Yeshua was correcting the people, and he told them, he said, except your righteousness exceed the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees, you cannot no wise enter in. Here they've added an extra crown. He already gave the crown that he wanted at that time. It's almost like when you really look at this, the hand of God is no longer leading and directing you. You're putting your life ahead of all of that, and then you're putting God in that. And then now you have an extra crown. Remember how the Sadducees and the Pharisees, they would have their tallits on, and they would put all these extra tassels and all that to be seen of men. This is what the Lord ministered to me, that extra. You didn't need that. This is perfect. When we studied this letter last week, John was mentioning to us that this is perfection. It didn't need anything else. When you take the righteous and make it self-righteous, you no longer can bend because it's out of balance. You don't have that 18. You don't have that 18 anymore. You've added extra numbers in there. You've added a 50 and a 10, so you got 78 in total with this. And the body is out of balance, so you don't have that humble bowing anymore. This is when you become stiff-necked. You're leading yourself. So these were some of the things that we learned when you study this letter out. One thing that the Lord really used John to share with us last week was that this word righteous is tied to image. And so when we look at Genesis 1:26 and it says we're created in the image of God, this is what he's talking about. He's talking about this is one of the aspects of his image. Not this down here where we're adding things to it. And so it says that God in his righteousness was so compassionate and loving that he, in the universe that he created for himself, he allowed creation. He created for us to share in time, space, and matter. Everything that he created it to share in his universe, and he gave it time, space, and matter. And so each one of us, we have that too. And so that's part of the image that he's talking about. And what we're to do is to walk in that image and to allow other humans to share in that time, space, and matter, just as Yeshua is allowing us to share in his space, because the earth is his. The universe belongs to him. So these were some of the things that we learned when we studied the letter. And when you study the letter out even further, you'll see that the root of this letter, of this word, is tied to the word filth and the word excrement. And so this will help you understand when you read the book of Ezekiel in chapter 4, when it talks about how Ezekiel had to lay down on his side. One of the symbols for this letter is side, a man laying down on his side. So that's a concrete element of it. And so Ezekiel had to lay down on his side, and then the Lord told him to turn on the other side, and he gave him a command to cook his food over excrement. And at first it was the human excrement, and Ezekiel said, no, I haven't let anything defile me, and the Lord gave him leeway to cook the food over dung. But that's where those terms are coming from, because the Lord was using Ezekiel to show the unrighteousness of man, where they had fallen at that time of Israel. And so that's what is tied into this letter. And you'll be able to understand more and more and more as you embrace the studies more. So today we're going to be completing our final lesson on the letter Tsadik. And so I want you, if you have a chance, to print your materials, and you can follow along with the lesson. And as you're listening to what John is going to be sharing, try to picture the concrete side of this. Picture the Lord's hand on the back of your head gently leading you, and just kind of focus on that as you're listening to what he's saying, so that you can really grasp the concrete meaning of this letter. So stay tuned, and here we go. Shabbat Shalom. Okay, John. I'll just stand right there.
Okay, if we can stand, we'll bless the fleet. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedeshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahitah teva tzitzit. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu